Hey, it's Jimmy Lee Lard, the sock snob, and people have been asking me over and over, how do I cook my greens? So I already did a video on Southern style collard greens, and that was with ham hocks and all of that. But this time I want to do some mustard and turnip greens with smoked turkey, and I'm gonna cut up the turnips in there as well. So hopefully this is a recipe you can enjoy with your family, either on holidays or just any given Sunday like I do. All right, let's do it. Alright, so for starters, we're going to begin with some smoked turkey wings here that I have in some water. I added 12 cups of water, and to that 12 cups of water, I added a quarter cup of Lard chicken bouillon. The water has evaporated, but when we add the greens, remember, it is going to make more water. So while this may look like a lot of greens, as they cook down, they will wilt, and then all of the water from those leaves are going to come out, okay? And the stems, although I cook with very few stems, but nonetheless. So this is the first batch of greens going in. I'm going to add to that some onion powder. So we'll say that this is about 1/3 of a teaspoon of onion powder that I'm adding right now. And now 1/3 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm going to go ahead and cover this and allow it to sort of wilt down, and then we'll come back to it. That is the first batch of greens there. To that, I'm going to add a jalapeno that I've sliced in half. Okay, so that's going to go in, and that is going to give us our little kick. So sometimes I use red pepper flakes. Other times I just go ahead and use a whole jalapeno like so. And I'm leaving it whole like that so I'll be able to remove the whole thing later. Alright. So now that I've added the some of those mustard greens, let's go ahead and get some turnips in here. Now, the ratio, please do not try and do a balanced amount of mustard and turnips. Never, 1 part mustard, 1 part turnip. So otherwise your greens will end up being pretty bitter. So when you're cooking mustard and turnips, a good rule of thumb is 1 bunch of turnips for every 3 bunches of mustards. That is where you're going to get your best flavor. Trust me on this. So I still have more mustard and more turnips to go in. So let's get them in there. You may have noticed that just about each time I season these add greens to the pot, I season them as well. So we're just adding layers and layers of flavor. And because, remember, that chicken stock and the broth from that smoked turkey has cooked down, well, now that's going to make for some really, really good pot liquor, as they call it in the South. So once again, more onion powder, 1/3 of a teaspoon. Garlic powder, 1/3 of a teaspoon. If you've been counting, we are now up to about a teaspoon each. I'm going to add a little bit of accent here. And now for the first time, we're going to add some Cajun seasoning. So this is gonna add to that kick. My estimate would be that would be about a half a teaspoon of Cajun seasoning there. Well, we're gonna cover this up, and we just have one more batch of greens left, and they'll all be in the pot. There's a much lower fat content than if we had done like ham hocks or something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add a tablespoon of oil. This is just vegetable oil. You can do olive oil if you'd like. I use vegetable oil. And that's just going to help the greens tenderize. And I might add another tablespoon since we have a large amount of greens here. So let me do that now. Guess what? It is time for two things. We're going to add our turnips, and we are also going to season it one last time. So here are turnips. I'm going to go ahead and throw those in there. And we want to get these into that stock as much as possible. Because obviously we want them to boil as well as steam. Looks like a lot, but don't worry, once they all get mixed in. Remember, there's a lot of greens in this pot. They're all packed down there. All right, these are mostly mixed in, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and give it its last bit of seasonings. And once again, we're going to go with a little bit more than 1/3 of a teaspoon of everything that we've put in before. It's going to include our Cajun seasoning, onion powder. Actually, that's garlic powder. And now our onion powder. So here we are. We have reached the moment of truth. Let's take a look at the finished product here. Oh my. So there we are. You see that there's plenty of greens, plenty of meat for the greens, plenty of turnips, and yeah, pretty good. So turnips came out pretty good. There we go. They are full of the same flavor that is in the greens, that stock, those seasonings. We are all set. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Check out some of my other videos. Some of them are funny. Some of them are how-tos. You know, have a little something for everybody in there. All right. Thanks again. And I'm so glad you tuned in today.